Yep, you reconnected. Go ahead.
Yeah, guys, they often compare MLMs with franchises. Now, I'll tell you one thing. If you were to inquire about hiring a Subway, buying a 7-Eleven or a McDonald's or a Subway franchise, I guarantee you they would not tell you that. You know what's a scam? College. You know what? Your job is a pyramid. They wouldn't say that. That's another way of telling if a business is or isn't a pyramid scheme. If they're saying to you that college is a scam and education is a scam and jobs are pyramids and jobs are just over brokes or journey of the brokes, that's a sign that this is a pyramid scheme, because normal, legitimate businesses don't sell businesses that way. The way that normal, legitimate businesses sell businesses is a business like McDonald's, they'll say, here's the data. This is what the average store makes. This is the average success rate. They don't hide that. So I think, if you want to figure out if something is or isn't a pyramid, then that's a good sign. If the franchise isn't bagging education.
Oh, he dropped.
We lost him again. Well, I do agree with Glenn on one point there, Peter, is that if they are talking about those things, just over broke and, to stand for, JOB, a job, and those kinds of things, and putting down education, that is a sign that it's probably an MLM scam. And most other businesses don't do that. Now, that's not what makes it an illegal pyramid. What makes it an illegal pyramid is lack of retail sales. I'll go right back to it. It's the fundamentals. And so, but Glenn's right. I mean, when they talk about those kinds of things, it's probably an MLM scam. There's, very little doubt about that.
Right. Well,
but that's not what makes it an illegal pyramid.
Yeah. Yeah. So the things that they say, there's lots of people that trash college. So there's, because college is very expensive, especially now. Lots of people have student debt, especially now. So it's not just people that are in MLM that trash college. There's a lot of really other types of people that trash college. And I don't want to sound at all as if I'm better than anybody else. But you're here, Glenn. We hear a little bit of an echo, but I think you're here. But the reality is that there's a lot of people that trash college, especially nowadays, and maybe some of them for good reason, but a solid education can never really be replaced, even if it's overpriced. So sometimes that's taken out of context, and so you got to watch that. Same thing with a job. There's lots of people that become financially rich over time because they work a job. So having a job, you can throw in whatever acronyms you want, but having jobs isn't bad. Going to college isn't bad. Those are things said by stupid people. And unfortunately, MLM has a lot of stupid people or nice people to say stupid things in it. But Glenn, I think you might be back. You might be. I see you here, but on my little screen, sometimes I don't see the number of minutes that you're here, which means you might be connected or not. So, Glenn, you here? Glenn might not be here.
Don't have him back.
I don't think we have him back yet. Nope, not yet. I'm going to put him on mute, try to get him back, see if that works.
I do agree with you.
Glenn.
Good.
Glenn, you here?
You there, Glenn?
Nope.
But I have to say, Peter, I do agree with you. There's other people that complain about colleges because, like you say, they're overpriced. Not everybody is really cut out to be in college. And we actually have some jobs that pay very, very well. If you're a welder, you can make easy, I won't say easy because it's hard work, but you can easily make, as a welder, six-figure income. Same with a plumber, electrician. There's a lot of trades out there, and part of the reason you can make so much money is very few people want to do them, and it is real work. It's not easy stuff. You have to put your body in all these different positions. You have to be around, if you're a welder, you have to be around all the fumes and everything, and you have to put your body in really uncomfortable positions to do your work. So it's not easy, physically, and certainly mentally challenging, but you can make a lot of money.
Yep, Glenn's back. Hey, your UPS man could be making $100,000. Your Amazon delivery guy or your FedEx delivery guy could be making $100,000. We'll be right back. Hold on 1 second. Hey, Glenn, you're back. Oh, shoot.
Hey, guys.
But you
hear me? Can you hear me, guys?
Yep.
Yes.
Yes. With the education thing, it's an interesting point because I think in America, it's very true that, you can run up a lot of debt and you could argue it's a bad system. But here in Australia, they use the same exact lines. They talk about how bad education is. Though I don't know if you guys know how our HEX system works here, but here in Australia, if you go to university, you don't pay $1 single until you earn over $56,500 a year. And people in MLM companies still.
Oh, he dropped.
Lost him again. Yeah,
Yeah,
that's interesting. It's different. It's different in Australia. I think over in Europe, it's either free or very inexpensive to go to college as well, which is very different, right, than the United States. It's extremely expensive here. Now you can lower your expenses quite a bit, just by going to.
Yep, Glenn's here.
Yeah,
okay, Glenn.
you're back.
Yeah. So I think the point I'm trying to make is that it doesn't matter how good the education system is. People in Amway are going to can everything. They're going to can jobs. They're going to can education. Even if you've got the best, fairest education system in the world, they're still going to can it because what they're selling is so bad that all they can do is say, well, that's their way of defending it, saying, well, that's bad too. Well, education having a bad system doesn't make MLMs good. Jobs being bad doesn't make MLMs good. And that's all they've got. McDonald's doesn't need to do that because they can say this is what the average McDonald's franchise makes. They don't need to bag education out.
Exactly. McDonald's even has programs where they, have funding put aside for their employees to attend college if they want to. That's something that McDonald's is known for. But you're right. MLMs basically want to push everything else down to make themselves look better. And so they trash jobs, they trash education, and they say we're much better than anything else. We're your best alternative. So, follow us. And unfortunately, most of them are scams. Either illegal pyramids because of lack of retail sales or also RICO fraud, which is massively more troubling to me than the lack of retail sales. But anyway, good points, Glenn. I think we largely agree with you on those things. Did you have another thought?
He dropped off. Yeah, Glenn dropped off.
Oh, okay.
So, anyway, so we got about 7 minutes left. So I know Glenn's driving or whatever, trying to get back on. So we can always have him back for other things. But are there any other? Let's imagine he doesn't come back in. Are there any other topics, Scott, you want to cover real quick?
Well, there were a couple stories on behind.
Yeah, so go over the headlines because we only have about 5 minutes left.
Yeah, there was a couple stories on behind MLM I thought were interesting that came up this past week. Let me get over there and scroll down to the first one I wanted to mention. If my computer cooperates.
I'll jump on the headline of one of them. I don't have the headlines, but one of them was the OneCoin head of compliance for a certain number of years, like for 3 or 4 years of compliance with OneCoin, was extradited to the United States and pleaded guilty in southern New York, which is where a lot of the financial crimes are charged. And she may be facing, 5 to 100 years in jail is the potential for her to be in there. And that was partly uncovered through the financial records of Mark Scott, who was the attorney or one of the attorneys with OneCoin. So the OneCoin stuff is still churning out and still bringing people in, and maybe they'll go after the promoters eventually, where we'll get like Igor Albers and some of the other people that Ted Knighton had been promoting from, OneCoin. Maybe they'll start to call back some of their money and also maybe string them back into the United States, so they'll face their fraud that they perpetrated. So that was one.
Yeah, that's a good story. In fact, I'm looking at that right now since you were talking, Peter. It says she faces a maximum of 10 years, which to me is not enough.
I think that's 10 years per count. And she has multiple counts.
Could be. Yeah, it could be. I don't know what she pled guilty to, so she may have gotten a plea, but yeah, we'll see how that turns out. She's supposed to be sentenced in February, so we'll know hopefully pretty soon.
The scary thing about that, when I say scary, put scary in operative words, is she was in Bulgaria, and I bet you, I'm going to bet she never stepped in the United States in her whole entire life. But because she was part of a fraudulent scheme in Bulgaria, they extradited her here. So she's going to face time in the U.S. prison system, and in essence never was in the United States. She never did business in the United States. She never stepped in the United States, but she's going to face jail time for maybe 10 to 100 years inside the United States. And I know it's not going to be 100, but it's probably going to be closer to 10. Here's Glenn coming back. So, Glenn, don't even worry about if we can hear you. We can hear you. Just jump right into whatever you want to say next. We have a few minutes.
Great, guys. So what do you guys think the chances are of Vince re-uploading Marco's debate onto his channel? I think it's zero, because I really think that he knows that he lost that debate. Marco made him look foolish. He does not want his audience to see that, and that was evident this week when every time I listened to one of his live streams, that he was blocking people, deleting people for asking him about things like the 99% loss rate.
I'm going to agree with you.
Yeah.
I'd say there's zero possibility.
But,
I don't think Marco made him look foolish. I think Marco looked foolish, but all the other stuff he's done, he's definitely looked foolish. The video he made about me and confusing me and you, that's definitely foolish. Now, I don't think that I don't think that Vince is smart enough to not put Marco's video on his channel if he knows about it. That's why I encourage you to email Vince and let him know that you talked to Marco and Marco is fine with that. That's the only way we'll really know, that he's aware that Marco has given him the go-ahead, and then we'll see if he does it or not.
Oh,
you there, Glenn?
He dropped off. Yeah, he just dropped off. Yep, well, let's do this. Let's wrap it up because we only have about 2 minutes left. You want to cover one more headline and give out your website, and we'll call it a radio show?
Yeah, let's do that. There's a story here that we've talked about before, I think. The headline is Tory Bell's Chapter 11 bankruptcy converted to Chapter 7 liquidation. So just for people to know, Chapter 11 bankruptcy is where you reorganize. Chapter 7 is where you just stop. You sell what you can. You pay the creditors as much as you can, but you're out of business. And that's what is happening to Tory Bell. Let's see. I don't know if there's any other ones of note. I did want to talk about that OneCoin, though, because that's our favorite MLM, right, Peter? As far as the number of stories, that's got to be the number one of all time in behind MLM as far as the number of stories. But yeah, we can stop there, and I'll just give my Facebook page another plug here real quick, because it's got 3 websites. It's got the link to this radio show and the other 400 plus that we've done over the 8+ years on a weekly basis. My YouTube channel, which is not Glenn's, it's mine. and my email, so anybody can get a hold of me. It's at facebook.com/ScottTexasJohnson. That's ScottTexasJohnson, all one word. And Peter, thanks again for a great show, and look forward to next Saturday.
There we go. And make sure you check him out on marcomukabear.gay. So, Vince, if you're watching, marcomukabear.gay. We'll catch you next time on Building Fortunes Radio.
You've been listening to Building Fortunes Radio on buildingfortunesradio.com. Thanks for listening. Be sure to check us out every Friday at 5 p.m. Eastern Time for the designated Building Fortunes Radio segment with Peter Mingle. Be sure to check out the buildingfortunesradio.com website for our featured segments. It's been our privilege to have you listen in. At Building Fortunes Radio, we wish you the success you deserve and are willing to work for. So spread the word, tell a friend, join our newsletter, and go make a difference in your world.